$5,000. Would you like $5,000? Well, that would be cool, right? But that's the big blind in this cash game that we're going to talk about. $5,000 big blind. This amount of money is unfathomable to me, and the amount of money that goes in on the river is insane in this hand, which is probably why it was suggested by Max Sawyer.
And let's be clear, the effective stack in this hand is almost $1 million, and this is not a tournament, this is a cash game hand, this is real life, people. This just happened recently at the Triton Jeju Super High Roller Cash Game, and we've got Paul Phua, billionaire, up against Elton Tsang, I believe, billionaire.
Probably.
And these guys also have a lot of experience playing poker, so this is a cool hand.
It is a really cool hand, and Max Sawyer suggested it on Twitter. If you have a suggestion, use this Twitter address. You know, include a YouTube link, do all the stuff you're supposed to do.
Why not?
Hey, guess what? Choo choo. It's a Nitrogen Sports poker train.
It's coming around the bend, people.
Choo choo. It's coming around the bend. Anyway, use the link in the description of this video when you sign up for Nitrogen if you want access to exclusive Poker Guys stuff. Also, if you want to be our friends.
Also, if you want to play in our special end of the month tournament where there's 1,000 buy-ins guaranteed, we usually get like 80, 75 even people signing up. It means there's lots of free money out there. You just got to use the link in the description, and we'll see you at the end of the month. Play against us. See you then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Let them see don't play.
They'll be learning like a new game seems like a challenge. Yeah.
So Elton Tsang with Queen Jack suited, he's dominated by Paul Phua, but on this flop that doesn't really matter, so really big straight draw there for Elton. He's gonna bet at it as a pre-flop raiser. 45,000. Blank on the turn. Elton has to decide here, how often does Paul have a hand like 10s or even jacks? A hand like King 9, and how often can I get him away from that? It's 90 million won. Oh, that's pretty strong hand here, but he is up against an under-the-gun raise. It's gonna be slightly concerned that he's up against King, Queen, or Ace, King. That makes all the difference in the world for him. Now he ties against those hands. Kickers don't matter anymore as long as they both have a king. They will tie. Very nice check from Elton. This is one of the worst possible cards to make a bluff on. $315,000 in the middle.
That was a relief. That was a relief. Yeah. I can't imagine Jared will be ruining any new home results. I can't imagine Jared will be ruining.
He's saving some face here.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to let Paul know that he was bluffing. Where is he? Oh my god, he check raises. Wow, what an insane move. Makes it 700,000 with queen high on a board that's this dry. You can tell from Paul's reaction, he really doesn't like this. He loses to tens, aces, and a deuce. This is really gutsy. $700,000 check raise with queen high. This is why we love Elton Tsang. We don't see people make moves like this. They give up, they think, oh, my opponent's gonna have a king here. To attempt to make your opponent fold a king here is, like I said, very gutsy. Big heart. Yeah, sure, I'll take some water. That's fine. No problem. You have some steel in your spine if you make moves like this.
Call. Fuck, that was like the
Just make the call.
stupidest thing I could have ever done. I was like telling myself to fold.
Show me your cards.
Huh? I don't show!
Don't show. I
me your
can see.
Huh?
I like tomorrow. Elton Tsang, Benny and the Bets, am I right?
Whoa,
Yeah.
nice
Yeah, I
ref.
just came up with that.
I believe you.
Yeah, because of Elton John, obviously.
Yeah.
If you didn't get that. Hey, let's talk about this incredibly strange hand. It's very interesting, very ambitious by Elton Tsang. We think Paul Phua might make some mistakes along the way as well. Let's see what we think.
Yeah, there's some interesting spots here. I mean, look, you could always argue even pre-flop that Paul Phua probably shouldn't be calling the under-the-gun raise with King Jack off in the cutoff, but whatever, we're super deep. We're
Yeah,
not going to
who
get
cares?
into that kind of stuff. Come on, and it's marginal at worst. Where does it start to get really interesting? I think the turn is the first interesting spot for Paul Phua. We completely get why Elton Tsang continues on the turn. He can still fold out some tens. He can fold out some other hands. He can fold out similar draws like he has, like other queen jacks. Now, at the same point, though, Phua here now, like, he's not really beating anything, right?
No, we don't think Elton Tsang really has King 9, and if he has
Right.
King 10, it's King 10 suited, and that's beating Phua anyway.
Right.
So King Jack, we're kind of hoping for as Phua if there's value.
It's not great.
But if there's value, Elton Tsang usually has King Queen plus, right?
I would think he does. Now, I don't know a whole lot about Elton Tsang. I've seen Elton Tsang play another hand that we did with him against Jason Kuhn.
He's a bit of a wild card.
Right. So I wonder, and I wondered this on the podcast as well, can he have worse hands for value sometimes here? Can he have things like queens and jacks, even though he blocks queen jack, which is the hand he'd sort of most want Phua to have? Can he have ace 10 and be betting here, also trying to charge some of the draws? Or the gut shots that maybe called once and now he's trying to fold out on the turn? Maybe. But mostly he's going to be betting, and when he bets for value, it's going to be beating us, right? If not all the time.
Right, I'm pretty sure most players at least aren't going to have ace 10, jacks, or queens here.
I think you're right.
Yeah, so it seems really unlikely, but we can hope for that as Phua, and maybe as Phua we just say, I've played a lot with Elton Tsang, and this guy bets a lot, so I have to continue calling with this part of my range because I have a king. I'm folding my tens, I'm calling my kings, maybe something like that.
I mean, I think he is supposed to call here with King Jack, because what's the next best hand we have?
King Queen.
King Queen, and after that, it's tens full, right? I mean, there's only two hands that are even better than this. I guess we can have quad deuces once in a while too. But there's just not that many combos of hands that we have that we can call with here. King Jack may be the bottom of it, but I don't see how we can actually fold King Jack, even though we can't really beat any value on the turn.
Right, but who cares?
Okay.
Let's talk about the river.
Because it's money time.
All right, so Tsang checks, and I think he actually is legitimately giving up until Phua bets, and then he has kind of an idea about it. But let's talk about Phua's bet for a second.
Cool.
It seems kind of obvious. We made a full house on the river. It's usually the best hand, but can we actually get value when we bet here? We discussed this on our podcast and thought this might actually be a mistake to bet as Paul Phua.
It's weird because how can you not bet? It's not top full house, but I mean, it's deuces full of kings. It's a very strong hand on this board in this situation. It's almost always the best hand. And at the same point, what are we ever hoping to get called by that bets the turn and then checks the river? It's hard to come up with hands that are going to call us unless Tsang has exactly hands like queens, jacks, and ace 10, like we were talking about before, that maybe he'll decide to hero with. But queens and jacks blocks the hands he most wants us to have, which of course is queen jack, the hand that Elton Tsang really has anyway.
Right, and I really don't think, as we said, Elton Tsang is betting those hands on the turn. And I also don't think if he bets them on the turn, he's going to check call the river, because what is Phua betting? I guess you could have a draw, but as you said, Elton Tsang usually blocks those draws if he has one of those hands.
Yeah.
It seems like a really ambitious bet. I understand why he's making it. In the moment, if I was there, I would probably bet as well. But upon further inspection, I think it might be a minus EV bet.
Super nitty check back. The only reason maybe to bet this is to balance the times we get here with some bluffs. I'm not sure how many bluffs we really get here with, though. I don't even know if we're calling with queen jack on the turn anyway. Once the board pairs, we could be drawing dead. And even if we're not drawing dead, some of our outs may be dead, i.e. the ace specifically.
Right. So now let's talk about the really interesting part.
Okay.
Because Phua bets, we can't fault him too much for that.
No. It's fine.
Tsang decides, you know what, giving up is for losers.
Give me up for poor people.
Yeah, I have $2.7 million in front of me. I don't give up.
Yeah.
By the way, he has a lot more money than that as well. So he's willing to make this play, which might hurt him in the end. But should he be willing to make this play, Jonathan?
Well, let me start by saying this. This is a pretty sweet raise here.
It is.
This is pretty awesome, and this represents hands that are beating deuces full of kings for sure, because I really believe that Elton Tsang could do this with pocket aces and better. So it's pocket aces, the one combo of pocket kings, pocket tens, and of course the one combo of pocket deuces. I think you can do it with all of those.
He doesn't have pocket
things.
deuces. There's 3 deuces on the board.
Well, whatever then.
Ace deuce suited
deuce,
if he
yes.
has ace deuce suited, maybe.
The one combo of ace deuce suited. It's hard to see it when you can't see it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Now that's not a ton of combos of value, but the line that Tsang took really does look like I would think aces all the time. I would be thinking aces a lot of the time if I were in Paul Phua's seat.
Against someone who I believe is reasonable, thoughtful, and isn't crazy like Tom Dwan or Elton Tsang, I think this is a pretty clear fold because you're beat almost always in the spot when they check raise the river. After we go call, bet. And our range is pretty much narrowed to almost exactly a king.
Yeah, we pretty much always have a king. So that makes it a really cool play by Tsang because he's like, Tsang has a clear range advantage here, right?
He's like, I'm beating what you have. What I'm repping is beating what you have, and I absolutely can have what I'm repping. Right. That's pretty good.
That is a really good spot to make a bluff. The bad spot is Paul Phua is freaking rich.
Yeah.
Like, Elton Tsang, I get that you're rich, but so is Paul Phua. Like, he's going to call so frequently. By the way, he's getting a really good price. He has to call 400K to win like 1.15 million, something like that. That's a pretty good deal. And if we're doing a GTO thing here as Paul Phua, which we're not sure if Paul Phua is, but he is, you know, kind of smack in the middle of his distribution. And against a guy like Elton Tsang, if you expect any level of balance, and against Elton Tsang, we might even expect an imbalance towards bluffs here, we have to make this call even though it feels really poopy.
I mean, things like MDF, right, which is minimum defense frequency, would argue you absolutely have to call here with a hand this good, almost always against normal opponents, because otherwise they're just printing money every time they check raise, and it doesn't matter what their hand is, right? And this is actually a perfect example with Elton Tsang. That said, when you're doing this up against a billionaire, like Paul Phua is, we think, right?
Yeah.
Certainly hundreds and hundreds of millions at least, and he's got almost always at least deuces full of kings, I'm not sure this is such a great play, even though actually it's a super sweet play. You know?
I think what it boils down to for me is Elton Tsang is taking a good line that is a cool bluff line, but it's a bad GTO play.
Huh. See, I actually disagree completely. I think it's a bad exploitative play. I think it's a good GTO play. Like, you need to have some bluffs here if you're going to do this with aces and tens full and stuff like that. But I think exploitively against a guy like Paul Phua, you probably shouldn't.
Right. So, okay, let me put it this way.
Okay.
Paul Phua almost always has a king.
Yeah.
Right? And from a GTO perspective, he's going to call with a king when we make it this size.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So therefore, it's a bad GTO play. I think it's a good exploitative play against not Paul Phua, but a bad exploitative play against Paul Phua.
Gotcha. Ambitious, yes.
Yeah.
Questionable, yes. Elton Tsang, always interesting, always does stuff that we're like, huh. So what do you guys think about this? So do you like this play ultimately or not? We were sort of back and forth on it. We think it's super sweet. We think it may be bad in this exact spot against this opponent who's got his range narrowed this much. What would you do, and do you like this play or not? Should Elton Tsang be check raising here? Also, second question, should Paul Phua be calling here and even betting? Oh, the whole river, really. All the decisions are things we'd like you to weigh in on. You've heard what we think. We want to know what you think. Let us know in the comments.
We would love to know what you think because we kind of have mishmashed ideas on it. We kind of have, you know, we're not sure yet. What we are sure about is that there was another huge hand between Elton Tsang and Jason Koon in the same cash game. If you want to see that, click right up here because we broke it down. We
broke it down hard.
That's how we do it.
Yeah, and what we do actually every week, actually twice a week on our podcast is we break things down super hard, including this hand. And this is where you really hear us get into all these river decisions, as well as, by the way, some of the decisions we gloss over, like pre-flop, flop, and turn play, where we just quickly are spending time on it. On the podcast, we spend minutes and minutes on each thing. We end up spending, what, a good 40 some odd minutes just talking about this one hand. As we do on all of our podcasts, we pick one hand and we go super, super in depth. You got to check that out. It's called The Breakdown, presented by the Poker Guys. It's available on all your podcast apps.
And if you like this video, or even if you don't, make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel.